Chris, yeah, man. How's it been going? I know you're out there on the West Coast. You're back in San Diego now, right?
Yeah,
How's the quarantine been going?
man, the quarantine sucks, bro. I'm fucking so over it, But uh, I mean, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a professional, so I don't know. What do I know? But I don't know anybody that has it out here, and it seems like everybody was talking about flattening the curve, and now there's all this. The governor's talking all this shit about a cure, waiting for a cure. Like, what happened to flattening the curve, man? Can we go back to work?
Yeah, right on.
So it's frustrating.
Yeah. Especially guys like you, man, fighters and everyone. They're like anxious to get back in the gym. I see you've been, getting some work in. I saw you doing some powerlifting. I think yesterday. But can't go roll or really spar in a gym with your teammates or anything.
Not really. I've been been holding pads for guys at the beach. Maybe a couple super secret grappling sessions.
Right.
People's homes and whatnot. But again, 99% of the people I know don't have mats at their house or access to them. They're just shit out of luck, man.
Right.
It's kind of old school. Like, it was old school before, everybody and their brother had a combat sport gym. It's like, it reminds me, like, in Michigan, like, I remember 10 years ago, we only had like 4 MMA gyms in the entire state. Now you can find one on like every corner now, you know what I mean? So they're taking it back. And I agree with you too. Like, we're not professionals and shit. Like, I look at it as like the dude at B-Dubs talking shit about fights, watching UFC there, doesn't know a damn thing about it. So if I try to go and pop some shit on there, I am no much better than that fucking dude.
That's exactly it, man. There's people a lot fucking smarter than me on both sides of this issue.
Right.
Fuck, who do I know who to believe? I hear completely one side one way, the other side the other way, and I'll tell you what, I'm not above conspiracy theories either. So if I had a bunch of money and all the power in the world, what would I try to do to save the earth? I know, tell everybody to stay home because they'll get sick if they go outside.
Hey, there you go. Or you can be like Thanos and like decrease the population with your Infinity Gauntlet full of fucking Bill Gates.
I think literally human beings were meant to be within 6 feet of each other. Like, everybody knows if you don't hold a newborn baby will die. That's why they have to hold in the NICU. They got to hold those babies. They need that human contact. And now they're telling us that that's the most dangerous thing for us.
Yeah, I miss it. I'm a hugger. When I see people, like, hey, give me a hug, man. I am not doing okay right now. Like, it's lame. It's lame. So we know
kind of
you
hard to train when you're 6 feet away from someone too.
We don't do that. We're like Mad Max over here in Michigan. The gym opened up here, Secret Squirrel, a couple weeks ago. Because why the fuck not? Let us make our own decisions. You know what I mean? Nobody's forcing us to go to the gym. Just like nobody's fucking forcing anybody to go to Home Depot and buy fucking flowers. Okay, you know what I mean? Let us make our own decisions.
Like, they're like, hey, when everything opens up, it's going to be your decision whether or not you want to risk going out and going to the movies. And I'm going, oh, fuck, that sounds like freedom to me. Like, what the hell? Like, isn't it a choice now? Fuck, if you're scared, stay home. Stay home forever. You know what? You're not going to get paid, but hey, at least you'll be safe.
Yeah, and I know California has some of the like strictest laws in the country. Really, I'm sure they're like requiring everyone to wear a mask whenever you go into public too, right?
Yep, you got to have your mask with you when you're out here. They won't let you in the grocery store without it.
Same here.
Technically, if you're out on the street, you have to have a mask on.
Yeah, they're not being too tough like that. I'm in Michigan, and we're kind of all over the news and crazy right now too, because.
Where I live, it's very funny. Depends on what part of town you're in. You go to the rich part of town, everybody's got a mask on. where I live is kind of like a hippie beach community, and everybody's just kind of like, man, they're out riding their bikes. Nobody cares. I mean, the sun's out. The ocean is cool. You know, I think the sun's probably the best medicine for you, anyways.
Yeah, for sure. For like my white ass, I need some sun, but I live in northern Michigan and we only get it a couple months out of the year, so I'm trying right now, man.
Or to miss it right now.
Fuck, but it's I don't know, it's weird. It's weird, man. Like, I don't know, I can't get my kid eyeglasses right now because I have to have a prescription for it. She broke her glasses. Well, our governor shut down all elective and medical stuff. So, like, there's people with root canals that can't go to the dentist. My kid can't get glasses. Like, I guess vision isn't essential. It's just, it's just fucking sucky right now. And what does she got to do for school? On a fucking computer. So, I think you need glasses for that. I don't know. Just I'm not a governor though, so fucking whatever. Dumb cunt. I don't like her.
So Chris, you were slated to fight Marcel Stamps at BKFC 12 in Birmingham. Birmingham's like right down the road from me. It's I'm here in Mississippi. Man, I was really looking forward to it. But you kind of had like a little issue during training camp too. I saw a post where you had like a ton of staph that had to be removed from your leg. Like how are you doing with that? Is everything back to normal?
Yeah, man, it took a while. I spent 13 days in the hospital.
Wow.
Wow, that's a long time to be in the hospital. I didn't even catch that. What the fuck happened there, dude?
It was lame. They had me on the IV antibiotics, and I was all messed up. I didn't know anything. I thought I was just a little sick. I was actually moving, and my family checked my temperature. They're like, dude, you're like 100 degrees. Lay down. And then I woke up at like 4 a.m. and I checked my temperature again. I was like 103.
Oh.
I got to the hospital and I was 104, and like when you're my age, 104 is not good,
Dude, that's not good for anybody, dude. That's
and then I was in there for a while, and they had to do a kind of a minor surgery. They had to cut me open, put some tubes in me. And then out of the hospital, I had a drainage, draining pus out of me for like another week and a half. Another 2 weeks, 14 days.
Holy shit, man! That shit fucked you up. That's some serious shit,
That for me was the 14th time that I've had staph.
That's a bad one.
Pretty common on the gym rats.
Yeah, but to get you septic like that to where it goes into your blood, where you have to have infusion of antibiotics and therapy, like what Chris did in the hospital for so long. That's scary, man. That shit could have fucking killed you, and I'm glad it turned out, okay. Fuck.
Yeah, staph sucks, man. Once it gets like in your muscle, like it affects like the entire limb. It may just be like a little spot in a little muscle or whatever, but you'll have your whole arm or your whole leg just dying.
Goes in your blood.
Got it. I always get it at the same time. It's usually towards the end of my training camp when I'm dieting real hard. I'm training 2 or 3 times a day. My immune system gets run down.
Yep.
I'm people always think they're going to get staph from a guy that has staph, and that's such bullshit. All my years in the gym, staph isn't like ringworm. It doesn't spread from one guy. Staph is everywhere all the time, and whenever I've got it, were nowadays when I'm training hard and dieting, or back in the day when I was trying to train hard and doing heavy drinking at the same time, and the immune, your body just can't handle it,
I don't imagine, fuck, that's just crazy. Like,
Yeah, man. So, hopefully everything's going to be kicking back off pretty soon. Have you heard from the boss man? Like, are they going to reschedule you and Stamps or anything on the horizon for you?
I don't know, man. I don't know what he's got planned. I haven't talked to him. And honestly, I'm kind I kind of bounce back and forth. I've got some things in my life that I want to move forward on. Continuing to fight. Yeah, I want to make some more money, obviously, but fuck, man, it's been like a year now. You know what I mean? Like since my last fight, like it's crazy.
Right.
And I'm kind of putting shit on hold. So I'd like to do at least one more, but we'll see what David has planned. I'll talk to him. If he's gonna put me on ice for another 6 months, then fuck
Right.
it.
Right. I got a question for you. I mean, you were just bringing up, drinking and shit in the past. And a lot of folks have struggled with certain I'll call it substance abuse or just drinking, drugs, whatever. Do you feel that substance abuse stopped you from having a greater career than you did? Do you think you could have did better if you weren't had to be fighting with that as well? And I mean, do you plan on sticking with bare knuckle or going back into MMA? Are you open to other combat sports right now, or just like you were getting into, man? It's been a year, and what's your thoughts on all that?
So first off, with the drinking, and I also had a small drug problem on top of the drinking.
They come together. They go together.
They go hand in hand. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. People always ask me, what would you have done differently, And it's like, well, yeah, I wouldn't have became a fucking alcoholic, duh. But you know what?
That's why I didn't ask you that.
I can't fucking change the past. I've had fights where I was in there hungover. Would the outcome have been different if I wasn't fucking hungover trying to fucking fist fight? Probably. I've had fights where I was kicking and out there trying to fight. Would the outcome have been different? Maybe. But here's the thing. I choose to believe that everything happens for a reason. Why? Because you know what? It just makes it fucking easier on me. I'm not talking about no universe or divine this. I look at it like all this shit happened to me to get me to where I'm at today, and now I'm at a point in my life where I get to be of service to a lot of people that are still struggling, and I'm very active in
That's amazing.
Involved with people that are newly into sobriety or still battling with it, and if I wouldn't have went through that, I wouldn't have the opportunities that I have today to give back and help people. And I wouldn't be in the position to be able to relate to people. I've got a lot of young fighters that come to me with their issues, and I was a young fighter with issues, so where they feel like they can't talk to other people for some fucking reason. I think it's probably because I fucked up so bad that people are like, oh, I could tell Chris what's going on. He's not going to judge me,
Right.
The same playing field, absolutely.
Honestly, it's truly a blessing. It's a blessing that obviously, you're never recovered, but that I'm through the darkest. I'm on the other side.
Right.
And now life is pretty fucking good for me, and I get to help people out where I can.
That's gonna give you such a great feeling of self-worth and just that servitude and giving back and helping out not only another fellow fighter but a fellow human too. And I think that's one of the best gifts of life is when you can be that for somebody. So hats off to you, Chris. It's awesome.
Right on. Yeah, Chris, man, I've been following you for a while. You're actually you're one of my favorite fighters of all time. I've been following you. I know that you moved out to Hawaii for a while, and then you came back to San Diego. What made you make the move?
Well, I was pretty happy in Hawaii. I was out there for 10 years. Then my wife at the time was going to go to law school. She was going to go, so she got into law school in San Diego. Well, out of the couple places that she got into law school, San Diego, which had Alliance, which has been a powerhouse of MMA gyms forever,
for sure,
was here. So since I was still in my UFC career, I said, well, let's go to San Diego. You know, it's the closest weather we can get to Hawaii.
Right.
You know, and they got a great gym and a great law program for you. Now,
They got grass too.
Yeah, initially the plan was 3 years and then go back to Hawaii, but obviously things didn't work out that way. I've been here for I don't know, 7 or 8 years now. I've got a 2-year-old child. I've got a wonderful girlfriend. And my life is completely different. But that's how life works. Never works out the way you planned it. It works out the way it's supposed to work out, but it's never the way you thought it was going to.
And you can't dwell on what could have been either. You just, moving forward, eyes up, eyes forward.
For sure. And, speaking of training and going places and training, I mean, what was it like training with Team Quest, at the height of the Randy Couture and the pressure going into the Ultimate Fighter, as a teammate of his, And if you knew the success and the failure of the UFC, like wrote on the results of the Ultimate Fighter 1, I mean, would you have felt, more pressure with that?
I mean, at the time, dude, a 22, 23-year-old Chris Leben, man, I was fucking out of control, and all I wanted to do was fucking chug beers, kick ass, crank tunes, and
that sounds great though.
It is for a 22-year-old, right?
Should it be for me too?
That makes for good reality TV,
Yeah.
Favorite tough season of all time for sure.
But that being said, I was I think the 12th student ever at Team Quest. I remember my brother called me one day. He's like, I got a job at this car lot, and fucking Matt Lindland and Randy Couture are kicking the shit out of each other in the garage. I was like, what? I'm on my way. So back then I was a huge Couture fan. So, shot down there, and man, that was it. Then, Ed Herman came a couple weeks later. Chael was already there, and then that whole crew fell together with Lindland, Randy, Evan Tanner, and all the other guys that were in and out of that team.
Right. Would you have felt more pressure, if you knew that the results of the Ultimate Fighter 1 would have such a just so successful? No, you wouldn't have cared.
No, for two reasons.
Okay.
What happened to the UFC didn't really affect my pocketbook.
I get you.
The UFC made it great, but I never got my $1 million for saving the shit, for saving the whole organization.
Damn it.
And two, man, I was just so wrapped up at living life back then. If it wouldn't have been the UFC, I would have been fighting for somebody else. You know what I mean?
Right.
Now, one thing I didn't know, in hindsight, was the power of that show. I don't think any of us had an idea of the
not at that point. No,
that show was going to have on American culture. And where we are today. I thought, hey, maybe somebody will buy me. I was on the show, maybe I'll get some free beers when I get back to Portland, And then next thing I know, I couldn't fucking go to the shopping mall without everybody knowing who I was. It was
right.
I mean, it was an incredible shift.
You became famous overnight. Yeah.
I bet. Speaking of your, UFC career stuff, in your opinion, I mean, what do you think was your biggest UFC career win, and why was it beating Wanderlei Silva?
Well, every fight is always the biggest fight, That being said, Terry Martin was a pretty epic one because I was pretty much out when I was able to knock him out. I was like in zombie mode. Akiyama, there was 4 seconds or 5 seconds left in that fight when I got the triangle, even though I thought it was the second round. It wasn't until later that night my coach explained to me, no, the fight was over. It was the last of the third, but
that's awesome.
And then obviously Wanderlei for me was huge. Would it, if we fought another 100 times, would it work out that way again? Fuck, I don't know, man. But you know what? I'll take it.
Right.
The bottom line is Wanderlei was my hero. You know, I remember when I first started fighting, you know, I'd walk across town to, there was a Japanese toy store in Portland, and they used to rent out bootleg Pride videos that were dubbed off, you know, the pay-per-view in Japan, which was Sky Perfect TV, you know, and I would watch those Prides in Japanese over and over and over and over again, you know. So
did you ever get to fight Japanese rules?
What's that?
Did you ever get to go fight Japanese MMA rules or Pride rules?
No, I actually didn't. I was supposed to. I was supposed to fight Hayato Mock Sakurai in Pride, and then he pulled out. Then I had a fight in Pancrase, and then I ended up getting onto the Ultimate Fighter. So I let Ed Herman fight that fight in Pancrase. I went out and cornered him in Chael. So, but I do love me some Pride rules.
Yeah, I think Ryzen would definitely headline you on one of their cards. You should hit up Shingo.
Oh, trust me.
Come on. They should. Come on, Shingo.
Yeah, let's go. Get me on there. I'd love to jump on Ryzen. One of my old students, you know, I trained him and then cornered him for his first several fights, was Jake Hune. And Jake Hune's been killing it over there in Ryzen.
That's awesome.
They just had him slated to fight Crow Cop. I think he's fighting for the title now for the light heavyweight.
I can't wait till they get back. It's one of my favorite shows.
Vanderlei is supposed to fight for BKFC. I would love to see you and Vandy run it back without the gloves, man. I think that would be awesome.
Hell yeah, man! I'm down. You know.
Yeah. Chris didn't even flinch.
That's what I would definitely would love to do, you know.
Definitely.
You know, but you know, again, we'll see. You know, I saw Vanderlei was going to fight. I saw Mike Tyson was going to fight. You know, it's like, fuck, I don't know.
Yeah.
You know, I don't believe shit until they're fucking standing in that squared circle.
Until there's a contract or they're actually there. That's right.
Right, for sure. Well, Tyson, like, he ain't signed or anything yet, but Vandy
Dylan apparently made him a $20 million offer. So
yeah,
I'm sure there are tons of people that are going to offer Mike a ton of money to come fight. So he'll have options.
No, they can, because I'll tell you what, they get that dude on the card, they will make it back. Pay-per-views for sure.
Absolutely.
I'm renting it.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Hey, well, Marcel just joined. I don't know how great his video is. It keeps coming in and out. I'm going to try to bring him on real quick, and we'll see what happens.
We got that Obama phone. Told you. Just fucking with him. All right, no, we'll see.
Hey, Marcel, you there?
Let me get Marcel.
Marcel, we see a black screen, bro. Are you there? Try, if you can hear me, try logging out and then log back in, bro.
Yeah.
While he's doing that, Sheena, we had some fan questions for Chris. Do you have those?
Yeah. Here, I got a couple of them. Here we go. All right. Here, this one's from Dave Potter. Coming from the old days of the sport, do you think, in your opinion, with your own personal experience, do you think it's better or worse behind the scenes and management perspective under, these big company traded policies, or do you miss the old school days? Do you think it's gotten worse as like a worse experience for you? I don't know. You've ever gone to the show and it's like super overregulated and
the question, he's talking about the management of fighters.
Right. Well, management of fighters, whether with your own personal management or even, just with the promotion themselves.
Well, nowadays I don't do managers flat out. Like I negotiate everything personally myself. And I would recommend most depend. If you're a marketable fighter and you can get out there, like you can negotiate yourself. Just make sure you reach out to guys that have been in the game a long time, like me or somebody else, so that they can kind of coach you through what you need to do. Like I tell every young fighter, man, don't just jump. Oh, he offered me this. He said, take it or leave it. Like, that's bullshit. Listen, man, time is always on your side when it comes to negotiating. Now, the reason I say that is because every manager old days and new, in my experience, they've all been the same. They think they're like fucking Ari from Entourage, you know, and they're just this slick suit wearing fucking fast talker, you know, and they're, you know, get rich quick. They're like real estate agents. That's the kind of person that's attracted to that
salesman,
job.
pretty much salesmen, yeah.
And you gotta wonder, you know, when they tell you about all the shit they said to get you the big money from your contract, like, and then your sponsorships are they turning their hat around when they talk to me? You know what I mean? Because I've definitely had managers try to short me, try to manipulate the numbers, you know, try to do all sorts of things over the years. And I think it's, you know, fighters, maybe all athletes, you know, they think that they're smarter than us. They think, oh, that's just a dumb athlete, so, you know, I can take advantage of him. And, you know, guys got to be really, really wary of that. They got to be really wary of people making them all sorts of exorbitant promises too. I'm going to do this. I'm going to get you to fight this guy. You know, I just warn guys, take it with a grain of salt. Now that being said, you know, there was a time when managers served a purpose. For example, if you could sign with Monty Cox, you might have to give him 30%, but he was going to get you in the UFC, guaranteed. You know? So if you do work with a manager, what I would say is, listen, man, I'll give you 20% of what you kill. No more, no less. If you give me a sponsor on a fucking clothing company or an energy drink, you get 20% of that. If you get me a bout, if you sign my bout contract, if you get me a bout for this much money, I'll give you some money of that. But if I get my own fight, I'm not giving you, you know, if I've been in the UFC for a fucking decade, I'm not giving you 20% of my fight contract because you got me a freaking energy drink sponsor, and then I end up paying you at the end of the day. You know, that doesn't make sense. And I've seen guys, a lot of guys that after their sponsorships come in, because of the money they got from their purse, they end up cutting their manager a check. You know what I mean? Like,
I've cut manager checks doing shows and shit before, you know, and a lot of things, you know, just like you said just a little bit ago, ask somebody. You know, you can't hustle a game you don't fucking know. You're gonna, I mean, the fight is fucking dirty, bro. You know.
That's right. You know, and if you have a question about a manager, you better fucking
ask. Well, I'll tell you. You know what I mean?
About working with somebody, do your research. Because if you don't do your research, you know what, man, you're gonna get burned, and it's your own fucking fault.
Yeah.
Hey, speaking of that, real quick, Chris, I know before you fought for BKFC, you fought for another bare knuckle promotion, and I don't know how much you can talk about it because I know there's you know, some ongoing probably lawsuits or whatever trying to get your money. But you know, how did all that come about? Did they just, you know, go out of business, go bankrupt, and just said, "Oh well, fuck Chris Leben, we don't owe him anything"?
I with Dave with BKFC first, you know, and then I got a call from Joe Stevenson. He was like, "Yo, this guy Paul Taylor wants to call you." He called me, you know, after some back and forth, offered me a fucking ton of money to the tune of what I was making in the UFC. You know, be the main event. I didn't really like what he's, you know, I wasn't sure about it, you know, but then I you know, I called, I talked to Boss, I talked to some other guys. They gave him the nod. They said the money's there. I've seen it in the account. So I went ahead and said, luckily, being that I did do my own negotiations, I was the only guy that required 10% down. You know, so I did get some money for that show. Everybody else got zero, you know. Right. I made them pay me up front. But, you know, it was one of those things. It was a little too good to be true, you know. And as it got closer, it got to the point where I had been out for years at this point. You know, I had trained and got through the fight camp. There were red flags popping up. And I was like, you know what? Fuck it, man. I'm just going to fucking take this fight and hope for the best. You know what I mean? And, you know, is what it is. Luckily, I went out and I won. So you know, it wasn't terrible. I still got to knock off the ring rust and get out there.
Good shit. So it looks like Marcel's
yeah, it looks like we got Marcel on finally. It looks like he's in the top of a tree or something somewhere to get a good signal.
I'm in Atlanta right now.
Right on, man. How's it going? How you doing?
Pretty good. Down here to help guys down up in Atlanta right now, but everything's pretty good.
How's your lockdown status there in that state? I don't think I've talked to anybody in Georgia.
It really haven't stopped me from doing what I needed to do. You know,
That's
I
good.
guess overall, you got a lot of people panicking, trying to figure out different aspects.
Right on.
So it really haven't affected me. But besides having like the proper people around, as far as training.
What's going on with your mic? Your mic is choppy.
Yeah, you're kind of going in and out a little bit.
Yeah,
all right.
Sounds like you're right.
You and the other guy on the screen here were supposed to fight BKFC 12 in Birmingham before all this coronavirus shit went down. You know, are you working, trying to, you know, put a little bird in Dave's ear to try to, you know, make that happen again, or you got other things lined up, or you know, what's going on with Mr. Stamps?
They actually said that they were push it back, I guess, a little bit farther. I guess farther after they figure out Alabama commission, and everybody kind of figure out what's the, I guess, back of it. They kind of on hold too. But still have a lot of states, you know, not allowing a lot. We kind of on the back end waiting right now.
How long would it take you to get ready? You know, as far as fight ready, like when are you ready to go? Because I mean, there's other states and shit that like.
Oh well,
we're getting ready June and July. Yeah, you. I mean, how long does it take you to get ready? I mean, you know, let them know.
That's what I'm saying. I never really stopped. I still train with a bunch of the guys. You know, like Eric can walk right now, fight. So you know, a lot of us guys, we really haven't stopped training, just because of, you know, like the pandemic happened. Thing got pushed back, but like as far as that, you know, boxing, MMA, about anything that pops up right now. I've had a couple on things that I want, but I didn't like the way they sit, so I didn't even really take those. So I'm kind of waiting now and look for the right deal.
I gotcha. So when you talk to BKFC boss, did he mention, you know, still having the same fight, you leaving just at a different time? Did he give you any you know, guesstimation when that would be?
All he said at the time, trying to push it back, trying to you know, figure out the logistics of it, but I don't see why, you know, they wouldn't push that. It makes, you know, Chris leaving, everybody knows that he's a really, really tough guy. That he doesn't, you know, stop. He has a big name for himself as far as, you know, fights. You know, I'm coming to this. Everybody knows that I don't really back away from anybody. You know, if you go into last, you know, I'm willing to take risks. You know, just like last year, I took, you know, risk. Guy 3 weeks notice that's, you know, 15-3. You know, the number one guy in the country. So everybody knows that both of us like to bang. Both of us like to go out and show, and give the fans. So I think that it'll be something they really push, just because overall I think stylistic matchup for.
Where were you guys going to fight at? You guys were going to fight at 205?
Yeah, that was the plan. At least that's what I heard.
Yeah. The plan was to go at 205, and like I said, it was just because of I normally fight 85, and like I understand it, like with Chris, and at the time we had kind of figured out that he wasn't. I guess you had a couple things that you were trying to fix, and you didn't want to wait and do last minute cut. So you're fine, because I walk around about 215 myself, so I understand. I'm like, good with that. That's make it easier for me too.
That cutting shit's for young people, right, Chris?
What's that?
I said that cutting shit's for young people, right?
That's right, man. I made 85 before, but dude, it's just getting, as I get older, it gets harder and harder to cut that weight, Right. I mean, I guess technically I could just fucking diet all the time, but
sorry about that.
You got to live a little bit, you know what I mean? So
I mean,
That's right.
What's up?
For bare knuckle and boxing, you really don't have to cut weight. It's just, wherever your weight is at, that's where you go at, because at the end of the day, that cutting weight, what you're doing as far as with the bare knuckle and boxing, have a longer rounds, it plays a part. Like,
Right.
I don't know many people anyway that does.
I see some of them.
Really do a lot of cutting.
They'll cut down so they're lighter and faster. It's only worked for a couple. Like they cut. Like Jason Knight cut. I mean, depending on where they fight at. Jim Allers cuts a shit ton of weight. Johnny Bedford loses like a whole fucking grown human when he cuts weight for all of his fights. It's
bigger, faster, stronger. That's definitely the name of the game. But I think we both fought at 85. I fought at 190 my last match. So I think it kind of makes it easier on me.
Oh, for sure, for sure. Age and everything too.
Ultimately, it results in a more exciting fight. That's kind of what you see with ONE FC, where they made everybody go up a weight class. And then what happens is the fights are more exciting.
Right. I thought that before they, like the UFC implemented, the fucking IV ban and shit, and then we started seeing everybody getting knocked out like super easy. It's like, yeah, you know what I'm talking about too. It's fucking horrible.
Yeah, California's getting, they're starting to get crazy down here. You can only gain, you're only allowed to gain 10% of your body weight back.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and the commission checks up on you like every fucking 2 weeks. Yeah.
I work for the commission out here. So,
yeah.
Chris does some reffing too.
Yeah, it always sucks when we got to send somebody out to California last minute because they need a shit ton of medicals. Like we need like neuro exams by a neurologist and like from crazy specialists. It's hard to get into last minute. So
right. Well, hey, Stamps, man, I hope we get the chance to fight, dude. I think you're right what you said. I think it'd be an exciting match. I watched your fight with Kendall Grove several times. Kendall's a good friend of mine, man, and he's a tough motherfucker.
He's so nice.
And so you look good there, and we'll see, man. Let's hope we'll get on the horn with Dave. We'll try to get this thing lined up. You know what I'm saying? Give the people what they want.
All right. Speaking of fighting, Chris, like exactly how many times does it take you to get that hit before, you develop that insane finishing mentality that you became so famous for? Like, is it the first one? Is it the second one wakes you back up? Or is it like third cocaine, stage 4 bath salts? I mean, how many?
Yeah. I'll be honest, it's fucking fear. It's self-preservation instinct. Once, whether, if it's a cage, they close that door. Once you're in that ring and a motherfucker's hitting you, you only got but one choice. You know what I mean? It's like, I got to kill him before he kills me. And I mean, that's really what happens,
Right, man. That's one of the reasons why I've always been a fan. Like, I love when you could be decked in the chin and just keep coming forward. You'd be like a zombie and just take it and still stand in the pocket and then catch that famous left hook and it's over.
That's why he's a fighter and one of all the time. Freaking awesome, badass legend, Chris Leben, from fighting like that. You're not soft, fucking straight up savage. I admire your warrior spirit and your heart, and I think a lot of folks will agree with that. And I mean, that's why you're so loved and admired. All these athletes, all you guys that are, just straight up. I love it,
guys. I'm gonna have to. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Hey, well, we appreciate your time, Chris, and good luck, man. And hopefully we see you back in the squared circle soon.
Yeah, what's the E? All right, live the dream, buddy.
Welcome